This video will explain 4 things: the hometown cult, that Des was sacrificed, a new angle on crystal theory and the Roaring Night, and main suspects going forward that we should absolutely not trust. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We start now. Something sinister bubbles beneath the quiet hometown. That's something we've known for a while now. However, Chapter 5 has given us reason to believe that things equally as sinister are manifesting on the surface, just under our noses, but right now and in real time. You see, there is an underground cabal, a cabal of devil worshippers that monitor the inhabitants of hometown. Up until very recently, we've tunnel visioned our threats to predominantly being creatures and entities of the dark world. As up to this point, hometown has been nothing but a safe haven to us, where we catch up with old friends and grab bites to eat. But interactions once seemed to be little gags have slowly begun to show their real form. A veil of meticulous and controlled censorship. Censorship not unlike the one we see with the prophecy. The kind that directly leaves us, the player, the soul, out of the loop. Gaster's followers have played a pretty simple role thus far for the players. As far as Undertale goes, they've served as very small pockets of exposition in relation to the man they follow. But it's clear here in the world of Deltarune, at their worst, they prevent us from learning more about the truths of the world, curating knowledge on their own terms, even boiling down to incredibly basic things, blocking our path as the player into learning more in the library, essentially keeping us all on a leash. In a way, the game is quite literally putting up a fight against our theories and us learning the truth. Almost as if to directly challenge our knowledge on the world of Deltarune, but through our lens of Undertale. All of the secrets of the world of Deltarune are being guarded with great prejudice, and these powers that be have recently demonstrated that they would go as far as to quite literally serve its inhabitants on a silver platter if they were to fall out of line, as it is quite common knowledge now that Onion-san, in choosing to investigate the mysterious noises coming from the lake, had gotten too close to something he wasn't supposed to, the truth. And the commander from below used one of his faithfuls to silence him permanently. It's truly disturbing. This implication that we're being fed our friend is truly beyond anything we've seen in Undertale or Deltarune as of yet. Now that we understand that hometown isn't some simple suburban town being protected by heroes, we're starting to see it for what it is. Hometown is in fact a town filled with people being guided by an invisible hand, where the devil's influence has reached a set of faithfuls that will do his bidding to ensure he maintains his status as the god of this world, who tries to influence us to believe our choices do not matter, as we're playing within the border of his creation, his Deltarune. And the thing is that these Gaster faithfuls, these goners or whatever you want to call them, are not even close to being the only members of this secret cult lurking around hometown. The Holiday family quickly begins to become suspicious. We know that at least one of them is working with the Roaring Night, which is a walking Gaster experiment I've ever seen, especially considering its ties to the bunker. And Carol has familiarity with casually bringing up sacrifices. Yeah, this is going to be a big deal in this video. I'm going to be very forthcoming and explain to you guys now. I believe that there's a strong possibility that Des is not at all missing. And despite there being a mountain of evidence playing into this idea that Des is this lost girl, I truly want to emphasize that Deltarune loves double meanings and crossing up people with their expectations based off text. Nothing should be taken at face value. There has been so much talk about Des potentially being a human, and I have to say that I subscribe to this idea. It really does just make sense. However, I won't be getting into any of that in this video. So if me believing this theory dejects you too much, I completely understand, and I would just like to ask you to humor me regardless. So let's say Des is human. People, I think, come at this angle with the assumption that it's going to be simply a really cool twist. A twist that recontextualizes the dynamic of the Dreamer and Holiday family respectively. and reasonably so. However, I really think we need to go back to the drawing board on something truly bizarre about the world of Deltarune. That is that it seems that humans are still an outlier amongst monster kind. But thus far, humans in the context of Undertale and now Deltarune have been used for one important thing: using their souls to cross boundaries. I believe that December Holiday was a human sacrifice. It's often easy to forget that the main conflict in Undertale essentially is predicated on this idea of human sacrifices. Let's go way back to the ruins of Waterfall, where we first learn in detail that over dominion of human souls, a monster would have the power to transcend the barrier holding them underground. At this point, you might be saying, well, they needed 7 human souls and 1 monster soul to complete this act. Well, let's not forget that that only applies to completely destroying the barrier, as we know that young Azriel was able to get by the barrier just using 1. So a monster and a human use their joint essence in order to break boundaries. Isn't this starting to sound really familiar? This revelation has really been making me wonder about that depiction of 2 knights we witnessed earlier on in Deltarune, especially because we understand that when a human soul comes in contact with a monster, it can alter their form completely. And I've recently come across a truly haunting detail that could implicate Azriel and Des being the other Roaring Knight. In Chapter 5, Sean explains to us that the Dark Crystals are in fact fractured hopes and dreams. At the end of Chapter 3, we claim our peace directly off of the Roaring Knight's bat sword thing. Something to note is that this obsidian color is shared by the armor that envelops the knight completely. The torso has a distinctive V shape that, bizarrely enough, is shared by Azriel's God of Hyperdeath form. And sure, that could just be a coincidence, until you remember the name of the song that ushers in his new form is Hopes and Dreams. How fitting for him to be donning an armor composed of dreams, when all of his were seemingly composed of grief and regret. I'm going to take some time to explain to you guys some ARG dialogue that I'm pretty sure will have something to do with the Black Knight's armor. Putting in the 1225 code into the ARG survey site, you're greeted with the phrase, "When you have a bat, everything looks like a ball." This may not sound like all too much to many of you, but for people that have played Moon Remix RPG, doesn't this sound familiar? You, by some coincidence, find out that Granby's grandson is seemingly lost or MIA around town. And eventually we find out that this knight, raining chaos and killing all of the world's creatures and meddling around town, is in fact a very tragic victim and being possessed by a cursed armor, all by the hand of the head minister. We learn the armor makes its victim see a false reality, completely distorting it into believing his cruel actions are all in the name of some sort of holy pilgrimage, where he's a hero sent to save everyone, unaware his body is being used as a monstrous husk. The minister's white arrow method essentially blindly chose a sacrifice to carry out his personal bidding. And this is made all the more disturbing when you realize you're the entity controlling the knight in the beginning of the game's prologue. You already burned through this world, and now you're forced to witness it as an NPC. And adding icing to this insanely demented cake. This all demonstrates that the world of Moon also has a world in which the fabric of time is just as pliable as in the world of Deltarune. You see all of your actions again real time and recontextualized, but at the same time, it's all very disorienting. But I guess when we arrive on topics anywhere close to Gaster, it's a natural cost. Now to digress a bit, we really shouldn't be surprised if Des ended up being sacrificed. But likely, if she really was, I could see it explicitly being more of a voluntary sacrifice. That possibly could have to do with what I believe is Chris's immense feelings of guilt about something unknown to the player, as discussed last time. But with the bombshell being dropped that dark fountains were occurrences even before our adventures with the Fun Gang, speculation in a sense may be too broad to be worth delving into deeply. However, I really want to take a moment to reference the infamous reaction Chris had towards Spamton, who seems to have quite a bit of thematic overlap with Chris and has given them their most visceral reaction to date. We all often reference the fact that the parody between them feeling like puppets may have something to do with Chris's very scared and shaky reactions towards Spamton. However, I'm starting to get the gut feeling that Spamton reflects Chris in possibly another way. Take, for instance, his desire to take Chris's soul, especially with the context that by this point, Spamton had already considered Chris a friend. He was willing to throw everything away for his chance at personal freedom. Could it be that maybe Chris shared a similar headspace in a moment of time in the past, and perhaps made a choice that they're atoning for until this very day? Another thing to note, Carol Holliday's insistence on Chris being welcome around her and her family, and especially Noelle. Is there a possibility she understands the utility of a human? The main thing I want to emphasize is that we don't understand the dichotomy of how Chris got here at all, and the topic has fallen further and further from the wayside the further we get into the game, and it's something I feel we should question as much as possible. We already know some of the denizens of Hometown know a lot more than others, and the truth is, it's possible that some are innately ill-intentioned. What if certain more knowledgeable, heartless monsters seek out humans, maybe even to raise them as some form of cattle, nourishing their souls so that when the time comes for harvest, it's for their own gain? These Dark Fountain happenings of the past are really starting to make me question things. What if the prophecy has started and stopped under different context? And who knows how many times? How many simulations of Gaster's twisted game have gone unseen? And I know this all sounds like a lot, but I really do wonder if something insane is truly going on here, even beyond the mysteries we always talk about. Well, regardless, running these test runs, hypothetically anyway, would take a lot of humans. But we only know Chris, maybe Des, and now that I think about it, that would be a really good reason to run a meat factory. On a final note, we should all really be paying attention to Alphys. We often forget how instrumental she is in the story of Undertale, in many ways. But uniquely enough, besides Sans and maybe Papyrus, she has the most direct ties with Gaster. Keep your eye on her. I enjoy doing bonus rounds with you guys because I know my theories are often super wordy and more or less kind of vibes based, for lack of a better term. And if I completely lost some of you in this video, I totally get it. It's a little bit nuts. So instead, for this section, let's talk about a character that I believe Chris has a lot of overlap with from another RPG series. Even better, both of their arcs are unconcluded as of right now and in a state of flux. It's kind of crazy that these two are known for abusing the power of the heart, and they seem to be no-clipping their respective universes. Sora disappears after overdoing the power of waking and wakes up in unreality, Quadratum. And if you check out his character model during the secret battle in Kingdom Hearts 3's Remind DLC, you'll see that Sora's body almost makes him look like a dead man walking, and his spirit crossed over a body of water at the end of his game as well. And after seeing the end of that weird route, at the end of chapter 5, I really want to see if I could get anyone else to keep eyes and tabs on these two. It's just really insane to see these two game breakers that are likely ghost roaming new worlds, but under completely separate circumstances. Next time, I think we might have to talk about another character that may be shattered across reality and some bad memories.